Welcome to API Kitchen, where we cook up secure APIs. I'm confident Stavely, your chef de cuisine in this unique kitchen. Today, we have an interesting episode for you in which we will discuss the necessity of effective asset management during API versioning. So, put on your aprons and get ready to cook. Just like in the kitchen, managing your API versions is crucial for maintaining a secure and reliable system. When an API provider runs outdated and unpatched versions that are still connected to the database, it's like whisking together incompatible ingredients. Things just don't blend well. It can expose known vulnerabilities, allow unauthorized access to resources, compromise data confidentiality, or result in other security risks. It's now time for our mystery box item, which will help us grasp the significance of effective asset management during API versioning. So let's check it out and see what's in there. Ooh, okay, what's here? Can you guess? It's a kitchen scale. Just as a kitchen scale offers precise measurements for the ideal recipe, good asset management ensures precise control over your API versions. API versions can be represented in different ways as seen here. It can be represented in URL paths, request bodies, query parameters, and even headers. So let's assume we have an API version just like this, or any of the other examples we discussed earlier. We can use a method known as fuzzing to determine whether older versions are still accessible. Fuzzing is like pulling a joke on an API by giving it strange and unexpected data to see if it can handle it gracefully. In the same way that you would tickle someone to see if they laugh or get mad at you, fuzzing tickles the code of an application to find any secret flaws. It's a sneaky way to mess with APIs and push it to the limit in order to find flaws that need to be fixed. We can force the API endpoints with tools like Burp Suite Intruder or even Postman and identify hidden vulnerabilities that may have been corrected in the upgraded versions but left unmanaged in the outdated ones. To demonstrate this, let's use an example of a shopping grocery website called maybe API Mart. Imagine we come across an endpoint with the version as seen here. So we get adventurous, of course, with the client's formal permission, and we want to check if older versions like version 2 or version 1 are still accessible. By modifying the version parameter and sending requests as both authenticated and unauthenticated users, we can determine if the outdated versions are still vulnerable. In our case, we discovered that version 2 is still accessible, indicating improper asset management. So then we continue on our expedition, and now we try to test for Bola vulnerability in this API version, which is version 3. And we get a response from the server with a 403 status code saying that we don't have authorized access to view the product. But since we have discovered that this particular endpoint has a version that is still accessible, we also try to access the product using this old version, and boom, we get a response with a 200 status code from the server. This means that in version 3, broken object level authorization vulnerability was fixed, but this vulnerability exists in the previous version, which is version 2. In the outdated version 2, the broken object level authorization vulnerability allows us to access the product that do not belong to the authenticated user. This indicates improper asset management during API versioning, as the vulnerability was not addressed or fixed in the previous version. Now, in summary, if an API fails to handle requests to the correct version endpoint, responds with incorrect data, or allows unsupported parameters, it suggests improper asset management during API versioning. Improper asset management during API versioning is like keeping unattended items in your pantry. They may decay and taint the flavors of your APIs. You can ensure a secure, pleasurable API experience for your users by correctly fixing vulnerabilities in each release and maintaining an inventory of all your APIs. Remember, just as your kitchen scale lets you measure precisely, efficient asset management allows you to keep control over your API versions as well. Now, that's it on today's episode on proper asset management in API versioning. Join us next time as we explore another exciting API security topic and unveil a new mystery box item. Remember to subscribe to Cecilia TV and hit the notification bell so you don't miss new episodes of API Kitchen showing each Thursday on Cecilia TV. Until then, Keep your kitchen clean, your code cleaner, and your APIs secure.